Hey, what's up guys? It's the Average Sim, and it has been a very long time, but I am back at it again with another episode of SketchPAD Drawing. In today's episode, we are going to be learning how to draw a little cabin in the woods. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first step to drawing a house in the woods is to draw the house. So to start off, we are going to draw the front face of the house by drawing a rectangle. So this rectangle is going to be slightly angled because the house is going to be a 3D shape. So to draw this, you're going to make these two lines and then connect the top and bottom of each. After that, we are going to move this side or draw this side. So make sure to draw this line a bit light because we are going to be erasing it later. And then this is just a regular rectangle. The next step is the roof. What we want to do is make one dot here and one dot there. These are going to be the two endpoints of our roof. The next step is to connect them. I like to connect them with this little curve here and make one of the lines overlapping like that. This is going to make it look a little collapsed in and old. The next step is to draw some curved lines like this. And do the same thing on the back. And then you can just connect these lines. So you're gonna connect those and make the roof like that and erase anything that you need to touch up. And erase that line there. So now we have our little house. The next part of making this house is to add some detail. So I forgot to mention the last step, we have to erase this as well. And now we can add the detail. So the first thing I'm going to do for adding detail is to make some planks on the wall. So you're going to do that by just making some horizontal lines going across. Just like that. And then you're going to do the same thing with these lines on the front of the house. And make sure that these planks connect to the planks on this side of the house too. Now, we want to erase a little area here and right here. And we're going to add in a window and a door. Just like that. And in the window, you can add some, I don't know what those are called, but they're little bars like in between the window, usually made out of wood. And on this side, it's your preference, you can add a window. In this case, I'm not going to. On the roof, I'm just gonna make some lines like that. And then even on here, you could go like that, just to give it that more collapsed in kind of look. Now for the shading. I'm going to start by shading the planks. And to do that, you're going to start at the roof and shade very, very heavily. But then as you get to the next line, you're going to lighten it up a lot. And then you're going to repeat that process with all of the planks. So shading very heavily, then shading very lightly. And then on this last one, you can just do it all very heavily. All right, and then we are going to do that on this side as well. Start from here and shade it in dark. You can shade in the first two pretty dark. And then get lighter. And then around here, it's going to get a little bit tricky with shading. So we want to make it look like there's some light coming out of this window. So to do that, we're going to shade heavily starting from the roof and get lighter as we go towards this window. And then later on, we can come back in here with an eraser and make it seem even more like lights coming out. And we're just going to continue the shading on the planks. All right, and just like that, you've got the shading for the planks done. So now we're going to go in with our eraser around the window. And we're just going to very lightly erase some of the shading around it. And then that'll give us the illusion that it is lighting up. So now we're going to color in the door, and we want this to be all dark. Now we're on to the shading of the roof. The roof is pretty simple. We're just going to do one even layer of shading, and you want to shade in the same direction as the lines that we put in before. Just like that, and then you can go over the lines that we put in again. And then right here where it overlaps, you want to make it darker. And then you can go in with the eraser, touch it up a little bit, add some more shading, and we're good to go. So that's that part of the roof. And if you want, you can add some moss to it because it is broken down a little bit. So to add moss, you kind of just make some squiggly lines and shade it in a bit darker, and then add some areas around it to kind of make it more of a gradient that it's spreading out. Like that, you've got some moss on the roof. Next up, we're going to be adding some grass around the base of the roof. So to do that, I like to do grass in two different ways. So I will grab a sticky note here and show you them more close up. So I'll place this here. One way that I like to do grass is with the squiggle technique, and the area technique is just what I came up with right now. The squiggle technique is just going back and forth like this over and over again, and it's just a bunch of scribbles, and that's it. And then once you get to the edges, you kind of spread it out a little bit, and then you do that at the bottom too. It's very fast, however, for larger areas, it can be a bit tedious to do. So that's the first one that I'm going to use. This is for areas like here and around here, but on corners, you want to do the, the area method. I'm going to change the name to like the point method, I guess. Actually, no, firework method. That one's good. So you start with one point, and then you just go out from many points, and it kind of looks like, a firework. So, yeah, I guess I'll call it that. And then it's just a matter of doing that fast, and you get something like that. And you can even add, I guess, a stem here, and maybe some flowers. My pencil is not sharpened. I do not have a pencil sharpener anywhere near me, so that's fun. Alright, I guess we'll just keep going then. So those are the two methods. You want to do this around the corners and this around the sides. So I will leave this up here for reference and we'll get started. So we'll start from the middle and doing the squiggle technique. We'll go to the edges and fade it out to the bottom. And then we're gonna fade it over here as well. And then when we do the method over here, we can make it fade out to here. Then at the corners here, you want to do the firework method. And then just like that, we've got some grass around it. So we can take this out of here now and we'll continue the drawing. So for the next step, we're going to draw some rocks around it. So to draw some rocks, just gonna start with some shapes. These can literally be anything you want. And then just connect them and make them completely random. So what we want to do now is shade the rock. Rocks are all about simple shapes and complex shading. So you really want to think about where the light is coming from. If we have the light here, there's not going to be much light going to the back. So we want this area of the rock to be darker. So that means we're going to shade dark over here, and then slowly get lighter as the edges come up. And then if you have lines like I did, you want to start dark again and go back to the light. Now, this is very basic shading of a rock, so we're going to make it a lot more complex, make it a bit smoother, and add some shapes that complement the shape of the rock. And we can add like another little area right here, just around there, and then add some grass, mainly using the scribble technique. Alright, so now we have one rock behind the house, and I think I'm gonna add another one right here. So this time we have a bit more of a complex rock, and the light is coming from here, so it's gonna be hitting kind of these areas of the rock. So we want this side to be a bit darker. And we can go back in with an eraser too. After that rock is done, we have the next step, which is adding some trees. So trees are pretty simple. I like to mainly do pine trees in this type of drawing just because they're easy and they look good. So we're gonna add a line. I like to make them curved or just slanted. It makes it look more like nature and random than kind of planned. So I just like that a bit more. And then you're gonna start from the top and do another kind of scribble method, starting up here and just going like this, but smaller, and then you go out and then in again, and then out, but make sure it's longer than the one before it. And then you just continue that, and if you do it fast, you get kind of a scribble looking design. And I guess I'll call this one the scribble method for trees, kind of like the scribble method for grass. there's one side of the tree, and then we'll do it again on this side. So there we go, there's your first tree. And then we're just gonna go in and add a bunch more of these lines here. And you can even add a fallen over one. So I'll start with this one, and it'll just be the same project, the same process. So as I'm finishing these up, it'll be in a slight time lapse, and enjoy some original music that I'll talk more about at the end of this video. So, see you then. Hi, we're a bit busy right now. Can I put you on hold for a few moments?
Sure, go ahead.
Thanks. Thank you for holding. What can I get for you? Hello? Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to move on to the next part, which is adding some mountains. So to add mountains, it's very, very simple. I'm just going to start and make a line down and have it connect over there. And then add another one, just like that. And they don't have to reach the end at all. It's personal preference. So you can go down here, you can even add a smaller hill. I'll add another one over here. So adjust this, make it like that. And those are the basic shapes of mountains. Now to add some three-dimensional aspects to it, you're going to start at the top and add a squiggly line that goes down like this, and then around and back down. And then do a similar thing for all of them. So that adds some 3D aspect to it, and to add some more, we're just going to go off of these squiggles and add some more squiggles. And these can be completely random. And you're just going to continue adding squiggles off of the squiggles until you are happy with the results. That looks good for me. So now we're gonna do some shading on them. We'll make the light source like here, I'd say. So you don't have to draw it in. If you want, you can draw a sun on a sticky note like this and just stick it in there so you know where the light's coming from. And then you want to do all of your shading based off of that. So any of these lines here that represent like sharp ridges, this side of them is going to be lit up because it's facing the light, and then the part that's behind it is going to be shaded because it's not hitting the light. And to shade it, we just start dark over here and slowly get lighter as you go down the mountain. And then there's one side. Can go back through and smooth it up if you want. Don't worry about it if it goes out of the lines. That's what we have an eraser for. And then just do that for all of these ridges. And then on this side, you don't really want to have a pure white anywhere besides parts that are the light source. So you're just going to shade very, very lightly. And make sure the other side is dark. And I'll do that again over here. Alright, so now we officially have all of the mountains shaded. So I'm going to go over the lines that we originally made and just darken them up a little bit. And alright, there we go. We have mountains and a house in the woods. We can remove this and officially call that our drawing. So, as I mentioned before, the music that you heard while I was drawing the trees is a song called Nostalgia that is written by me. If you guys want to go check that out, you can head over to my music-related channel called The Average Sim Music. It'll be the first link in the description below. I have 48 minutes of battery life left, in case you were wondering what that sound was. But yeah, so if you want to check out some of my music, I'm currently working on an album that's scheduled to come out probably sometime later this summer. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of SketchPAD Drawing. It's been a long time. Signing off for now. I'll see you guys next time.